Today's episode is sponsored by the American Homebrewers Association. Become a part of the U.S.'s largest community of homebrewers for just $48 a year by going to unitedwedrink.com/AHA. What exactly do you get with your AHA membership? How about a year-long subscription to Zymergy Magazine, the world's longest-running homebrew magazine? Exclusive deals and discounts at over 2,000 breweries, bars, and bottle shops across America. Discounts on Brewers publication books and merchandise. Access to a huge library of previous HomebrewCon seminars and talks. And early access to purchasing tickets to each year's Great American Beer Festival and Savor. Sign up now by going to unitedwedrink.com/AHA and get a year's membership for just $48. And if you sign up now, you'll get a free gift. What's that gift? I'm not saying. You need to go see for yourself. It's pretty great. Support United We Drink, support homebrewing, and support the American Homebrewers Association at unitedwedrink.com/AHA. The opinions and statements in this podcast do not represent those of the host's employers, co-workers, family, or imaginary friends. Now enjoy the show.
Happy hour? More like amateur hour. Welcome to United We Drink.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a podcast whose entire back catalog takes up less space on your hard drive than whatever the fuck Joel's kids put on his computer. Welcome to United We Drink, right here on unitedwedrink.com, as well as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, and wherever fine podcasts are found. My name is Mikey Revich. I'm coming to you from a new recording location in sunny, humid West Palm Beach, Florida. Joining me is a man who can now add day trader to his resume. It's Joel Codner.
These GameStop assholes are fucking everything up.
And crypto is down big too.
I'm about even on that right now, but man, once like GameStop started popping off again this week, like everybody was selling every stock they owned and everything just plummeted so they could try to get back in on this GameStop bullshit.
Yeah.
And when you're trading stocks, like one thing you want to look for is what they call a catalyst, which is, some good news that would help spike the price and, your shares go up. And I had like 3 in one fucking day between 2 companies that I'm invested in, and everything took a shit. And it's all because of this GameStop bullshit. But that's for our investing podcast.
Yes. United We Invest.
United we lose.
Why can't PlayStations just be in stock?
Do you follow? I don't know. I forgot what thing it is I follow on Twitter, but I keep getting these notifications about like Best Buy getting more and more stock. It seems like they're the ones who are really on top of it.
I follow a couple of Twitter accounts, but I'm not on Twitter that often to really be up to date on that shit. And when I do get emails from GameStop, their emails are the worst at explaining anything. They'll be like, hey, we got I can read the email right when it comes through. We got PlayStation bundles going on sale really soon with Spider-Man, 2 controllers, and a $25 gift card. Log into your account now. They're going to be going on sale soon. And there's a buy now button in the email, and it just takes you to the homepage of GameStop. It doesn't take you anywhere for the bundles. You go to the consoles page. There's no bundles listed there. There's nowhere that this shit exists. This could be my fucking last call, but yeah. All I want to do is play fucking Spider-Man.
Oh, it's so much fun.
I wanted to play the last one, which I assume I can probably backward compatible play it because it looks so cool and it was PlayStation exclusive. But I've been an Xbox person for probably close to 2 decades now, if not
Yeah.
more than 2 decades, but now these Spider-Man games make me want to get a PlayStation.
Well, you're welcome to come over here anytime.
Maybe I will. And I'll install a bunch of stuff on your computer.
Maybe you could, speaking of GameStop, maybe you could come over the day my new arcade shows up to help soften the blow. Like, I don't think she'll yell at me as much if someone's here.
So she doesn't know about it.
No, it's the new
Mortal Kombat 2, was it?
It's Mortal Kombat 2 Legacy Edition, so it comes with like the riser because the arcades are kind of small even for me, and and it's got like a bunch of the Mortal Kombat games, but it also has like Root Beer Tapper, Paperboy, Rampage, Tubin, like
What?
all this classic shit, and that's what really sold it for me.
So you can go from ripping someone's head off
To delivering newspapers
becoming
on a bicycle.
to throwing a newspaper or being a dragon trying to knock down a building. Gotcha.
More on
Definitely
that
not
on United
Godzilla
We
or
Game.
King Kong in that game. So, it's been a little while since we've had an episode. We had some technical difficulties a couple weeks ago with a really fun recording session with our friend Tim Johnson from Bitter Units, but alas, the audio files were corrupted and we could not release anything. But we will get Tim on an episode here in the future, that's for sure. He's one of our favorite people in the industry, and there could be worse things than hopping on a Skype call and having some beers with a friend.
For sure. Yeah, I can't wait. I mean, on the bright side, we get to talk to him at length again, live, as opposed to, just tweeting back and forth. He's one of my favorite people in beer Twitter. Definitely someone on my, bucket list of people I want to drink with when all this bullshit's over. The real story is that my son downloaded a whole bunch of like game developing fucking shit and all this Fortnite stuff and WinRAR, and he's opening all these huge fucking files and just completely maxed out my new computer that I got for this podcast with just tons of data. And the computer completely ran out of space while we were recording. There was no warning like you're about to run out of space. It just said, hey, we stopped recording, you're fucked. And then we paused. I deleted a whole bunch of shit on the computer. We started re-recording, and then the files were fucked somehow. So, hey, at least we get to do it again, and that should be coming soon. Hopefully, Tim will be available.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, you missed a great conversation about us going up to Minnesota and recording an episode on a frozen lake. So what are you drinking here tonight, Joel?
So I just finished a visit to Sonic, which we can talk about later in the news. But I up until a few moments ago, I was having a cherry limeade slush, and now I've opened North Coast Old Rasputin, which I guess we'll be talking about on this episode.
Yeah, a little bit later, we're going to get into kind of something that we did a month or two ago, where we revisited some of our beers that got us into craft beer. We're going to go back and take a look at a couple more beers that are old school beers that we really, really loved when we first got into this. They're still going today, and it's something that I think is important to be able to look back at these brands and show that they're still fucking awesome today. Respect your elders, maybe even when it comes to these brews. But yeah, you talked about Sonic. You wanted to talk about this news, so why don't you take us into that?
Yeah, so hard seltzer has obviously been a thing for a while, and even
Never
a lot
heard
of the
of it.
big. This is one episode I wish Phil was on simply to discuss this particular piece of news because we know he loves hard seltzer. I don't know how he feels about Sonic, but everybody seems to have been doing a seltzer, even the big legacy breweries that you would think weren't going to jump into that or maybe didn't even need to. I was honestly surprised to see New Belgium coming with one soon, but someone named Greg Horton at WineREV posted some news saying definitely the biggest beverage news this year for Oklahoma. Sonic Drive-In and Coop, it's either Coop or Co-op Aleworks, have entered into an agreement that will triple their production. Sonic is bringing some of their famous flavors to hard seltzer starting May 1st. Our friend of the show, Ed Roberts, is on the case. He's going to find out if we're getting any down here. Apparently, some retailers have gotten like sell sheets for it across the country, so hopefully it's widely available. I mean, if this is going to triple this particular brewery's production, which I don't know what it is now, but I imagine they're going to be putting out quite a bit. But for me, this one was like, holy shit, seltzer, it feels like, yeah, everybody's doing it. Everyone's got the fucking grape and the lime or grapefruit, lime, all the usual flavors, and some of them are very good, whether it's, macro or craft. I like a lot of them, but this one seemed to be kind of extra exciting. If these taste like those slushes that they have at the fucking Sonic, then man, these are going to be huge.
I haven't had Sonic in a while, but I've always enjoyed it when I did have it. And yeah, those limeades were always pretty delicious, like with the different flavor combos. They also have funny commercials, in my opinion. If you don't like them,
Yeah.
Go fuck yourself.
They're good.
But yeah, this is I'd give them a try. I don't know if I'd seek them out, but like if I was at your house and you had like a 12-pack or something in your fridge, I would certainly try one. But I see this being super popular, and I don't know what Coop's production volume is, like how much they can actually handle making for this, because this could be a huge fucking deal based off of the kind of cult status that Sonic has amongst fast food chains and just seltzer game like rising throughout the country.
Yeah. It definitely feels like there's a bit of fanfare behind this one, whereas some of those other releases, because this is, truly a collaboration and
Pun
an
intended
extent.
by saying truly.
They actually pay me to drop a little truly in there every episode. See, there's another few bucks right there.
Oh, you finally got sponsored, huh?
I'm an influencer, didn't you know? So, this is one of those things where there's already some fanfare behind it because you have that built-in Sonic slush fan base. It's kind of, even though it's a national brand, there is that cult status to it. I mean, you mentioned a cherry limeade, people go nuts. So,
because Sonics aren't as popular, like as spotted throughout the country as like a McDonald's or a Burger King. Like,
right.
I know of one Sonic in the immediate area around here, and it's in Boynton Beach. I don't know of any others around my general vicinity. It is a national brand, but yeah, in between where I live and that one Sonic, there's probably 15 McDonald's.
Oh, for sure. So yeah, even though, they've got national commercials and tons of locations, you're absolutely right. It is not as prevalent as the real big fast food places. So, it's going to be really interesting to see. I hope this isn't like another Dunkaroo situation where the shit comes out and you can't find it anywhere. I mean, this might be like the first thing I actually line up for in years.
Wow.
Now I just got to find one of those machines that makes that really tiny round ice.
Oh yeah, okay. I
Yeah,
know
they've
what you're
got that
talking
great
about.
ice.
Just just chip away at have your kids chip away at ice cubes from your fridge, at least for your
Child
son.
labor.
It's punishment for what he did to your computer.
Yeah. He
Uh,
did it again today. Luckily, I caught it before we jumped on here.
Jesus Christ, man! Put a password. Change your password. Um, any other news?
Nothing crazy. In relation to this story, I was wondering when your Topo Chico hard seltzer was coming. I know you're a fan of that.
I don't know.
I know it's supposed to be first half of 2021, but I think that news was like 4 to 6 months ago. So I haven't heard any updates, but I would figure, you'd be into that.
I'm not following it. Like if I see it on the shelf, like then I'll be like, oh, that's out, and I'll be like, all right, I'll grab one. But it's not a thing that I'm looking forward to. I get more excited when I find actual Topo Chico in a place that I wasn't expecting to see it. Like if Bednar's, like this little local market that just opened up a location by my house, if they start carrying Topo Chico, I'll fucking lose my mind, because like we've shifted probably 95% of our grocery shopping over to them from Publix, and it really even has nothing to do with the whole political climate of Publix right now. It's mainly that like their produce is so much better and cheaper, and their even their butcher area, their meats are really good quality stuff, and they have great selection of beer, great selection of wine. It's fucking Oh, and they carry your favorite, the old Florida tortilla chips.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, they have like a big display with like every available, like every option they have of those.
Those things seem to be picking up steam. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm seeing bigger and bigger displays. They're great chips. I mean, I almost feel weird being such a fan of something from Florida. But man, those chips are really good. And it's weird, like you'll get a bag and it's like, man, these are really seasoned, and then like the next bag is kind of like half.
Which ones are your favorites?
The regular, like I don't know if it's called anything. It's the yellow bag.
Yeah,
I think I tried the sweet potato one. I didn't like that shit, but
I like the nice and spicy one, the red bags.
But that's like a $5 bag of chips.
Yeah.
When,
it is. For
Frito
11
Lay's and shit, or buy one
ounces
get one free.
chips. Yeah. But it's like me spending what, like $6 on a 4-pack of Topo Chico bottles.
Yeah.
While otherwise I hate 8-packs of seltzer cans.
Yeah, it's like me paying $400.
We're all hypocrites about something.
Oh, sure.
This is probably a thing that I'm a hypocrite about.
Well, yeah, I just spent $400 on an arcade that I'll play twice and probably get divorced over.
That will cost you even more.
I think I might just yield in that case. Like, just take what you want.
So, as I alluded to a little bit ago, what we wanted to do for this episode was revisit some older brands, some brands that were influential in us getting into craft beer, that are still around today and still doing well. We did an episode, like I said, I think it was like a month and a half, 2 months ago, when Phil was still on the show, and we had was Gaffel Kolsch 90-minute IPA and Sam Smith oatmeal stout, and these were like our kind of gateway beers into craft beer, and we had them all for like the first time in a long time for many of us, and got to talk about them and explain how these beers influenced us. So we wanted to take a couple other beers and we said let's do this more often, and let's spotlight some of these beers and give praise where praise is due and almost forgotten now by every new Tallboy release or exploding can release or whatever. these beers sometimes get overshadowed by the vocal minority of craft beer. So we're going to start things off here with, I guess I'm going to start it off because Joel didn't get it. We're going to have some Bell's Two-Hearted Ale. Originally, we were going to do Brooklyn Lager, but oddly enough, not easy to find Brooklyn products down here right now. Our friend of the show, Ed Roberts, told us that their SKUs are very limited down here right now. And I was at the Total Wine this afternoon. Not a single Brooklyn SKU to be found in the entire store. Not even like, oh, they're sold out and there's that empty space in the shelf where lager or the IPA or something would be. Nope, just went from Blue Point to the C's when you have them in alphabetical order. So switched it up, went with some Bell's Two-Hearted, and I poured it into a glass that is less than ideally clean. Just came out of a packed up box that I thought I rinsed out well enough, but this is a classic, right, Joel? Just right off the bat. When you think of IPAs, you think of Two-Hearted, probably.
Oh, absolutely. And I don't have it because I couldn't find any that was less than 3 months old, unfortunately. And Bells, I love you. I know you've got QC in place. I know your IPA would last much longer on a shelf than, fucking 20 of my nearest breweries IPAs. But I just did not feel like buying an entire pack of, what I would consider out of code IPA. And it's just to go back real quick, it's disappointing to me to hear about Brooklyn being so limited down here now because, that was pretty prevalent when I was first getting into beer. And when my kids were very young and I was throwing, birthday parties for them and stuff, and, adults were coming to the house, I was getting craft beer. I was trying to turn people on to craft beer, and I would have like Brooklyn Lager and Brooklyn Brown Ale. And, obviously I've admittedly not done my part lately to support them by not, it's just one of those things that we kind of left behind, but fuck, man, still great stuff. And, a lot of their specialty releases too. I remember when Black Ops was impossible to find, and then it was kind of regularly on shelves here whenever it came out. I know people are like very weird about Sriracha Ace hops right now, but I loved Sriracha Ace when it first came out. I was big on it, and I thought the branding was so cool. But yeah, that's it's unfortunate to hear, and I'll definitely try to seek it out now that I know that, and try to support a little more. But yeah, Two-Hearted, man, it's one of those classics. It's always been funny to me. Like admittedly, I hate that label. The label to me, yeah. I always say this in a very lovingly, like not shitlordy way, but to me, it kind of looks like the official beer of Larry the Cable Guy. Like I feel like it's almost got like that camo and the big mouth Billy Bass fucking singing fish on it. But it's funny because it's like, it's what's on the inside that counts, and that beer is so awesome. And I don't even know how many years now, but it keeps kind of getting outvoted, or it kind of comes down to like what them and Russian River Pliny, and they even have kind of a cool relationship where they'll send each other a case. Like it's not a competition. It's like a vote of like best.
I can't remember who actually it is, but it's like best beer in the world or best American beer or something like that.
Yep.
Funny thing, I'm just reading the can now. It says shelf life 6 months.
Fuck.
On it.
Be right back. I'm going to go to the store.
All right. So while Joel's doing that.
Take over for a minute.
But yeah, you're right. Like it's they send each other, like whoever the winner is sends like beer to the other. They've been doing this like back and forth for seems like about 4 or 5 years now as this kind of friendly unofficial wager between the two. And The can that I got is from canned on January 5th of this year. So I was like, oh, okay, that's pretty fresh. So I picked it up. I'm gonna do some little bitter units talking about it. It's like a really nice orangey, crystal clear color. And like the first sniff is like, this was IPA to me back in the day.
Oh yeah.
Like big grapefruit, pine, but like a little bit of maltiness just in the nose there. And yeah, this like the epitome of East Coast kind of IPA to me. Good malt backbone.
Oh, you're not allowed to say malt backbone anymore, remember?
Fuck, I don't follow every beer Twitter war that goes on. There's one every day. We still talking about distributors? Or is that one passed? Grapefruit, orange, like a little bit of pine, soft bitterness just on the back end of it that lingers around a little bit. Like, fucking A, dude. Like, this is awesome. This is and you know, I even back in the heyday, it was hard sometimes to find fresh Two Hearted. I remember that because when you got fresh Two Hearted, it was world changing. Less than fresh Two Hearted that's like 9 months old. It's like just like any IPA that's 9 months old. But holy fuck, man, this beer still is an incredible work of art.
Yeah, so it was voted best beer in America for the 4th consecutive year by Zymurgy, or Zymurgy, however you pronounce it. And before that, Pliny was 7 years in a row.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, what an accomplishment! What an honor! And the beer just speaks for itself. And I hate to think that anybody would turn their nose up at it or walk past it on a shelf. You know, when right now in the world of hops, everyone is consumed by haze and you know, Saturday can releases, and I got to get it fresh, and I got to get it right now. And I mean, this is a quality beer, and it's available like everywhere. And it, you know, I hope it's not one of those situations, you know, like we're seeing with Brooklyn now, where like, you know, we see less Bell skews because people aren't, you know, clamoring for it like we once did. But I mean, it's so goddamn good. And I you know, the way you're watching you on video drinking it and describing it, like I'm like, fuck, I should have bought those. Because I feel like even an older one would be better than half the shit that's fresh around here. So, yeah, it's what is it? 7%, and it's 100% Centennial hops.
It is 100% Centennial. It
Nice.
is, yeah, 7% ABV. I'm surprised by the 7%. I forgot that it's like I would assume this was like 5.5 to 6%.
Yep.
It drinks so easily. Have you ever had either the double Two Hearted or the light-hearted?
I haven't. I somehow I missed out on the double Two Hearted. I know it's 11%. And I don't remember the exact situation. I think it just kind of like came and went quicker than I could get to the store. And you know, like for me, before I worked in beer, I was at the beer store like 4 times a week looking for shit. Now, sometimes it's like once a month. But I've seen Lighthearted around. I was a little weird on the price. I thought Lighthearted was like very expensive for what it is. Mm-hmm. You know, being such lighter alcohol and everything. So I don't know. I'd like to try those. I wish I could just get them on, you know, go somewhere and get them on draft, which, you know, not many places I really want to go these days while we're still in this bullshit, but I'm sure they're awesome. Have you had them?
Yeah. Before the pandemic, my wife and I stopped in to shout out to local friends, Dixie Brewery and Grill. We stopped in for a beer there, and they had Lighthearted on tap. And I was like, "Oh, that sounds perfect." We were out in the sun all day, and I thought that it was fantastic. And my brother-in-law, it's become like his go-to 12 pack that he's been keeping in his house. So going over there and seeing Lighthearted in there, like he's been trying a lot of the low calorie IPAs, and he seems to have kind of settled into, he's like, yeah, I think I like Lighthearted the most out of all of them. He's like, it still has a good bit of flavor from it, and the flavors at least that he likes, because I think High-Low has a ton of flavor to it, but it has the flavors that he likes. And yeah, so I get to have that pretty regularly when stopping over at their house.
Have you had Hop Slam recently?
No, I haven't. I mean, I know that it was way more available here than, like, I know you and I can definitely attest to how difficult it was to find back in our early days in craft beer.
Yep.
Because the distributor to the Bells used to be with back in that day down here did not really care for bringing in SKUs like that. Now that they're with a different distributor who is a little more lenient on SKUs and special releases and stuff like that, they are also our distributor. It was a little more readily available, but it's still like an $18, $19, $20 six-pack. And it's weird. Here's me probably being a hypocrite, because I will drop $16 on a 4-pack of Tall Boys from a local hazy brewery, but dropping $18 on a 6-pack of 12-ounce cans or bottles of a double IPA is like scary to me. And I completely admit that's probably all in my head. But yeah, I did not jump on Hop Slam this year. It's probably been 3 to 4 years since I've had a Hop Slam. I think the last time I had was on draft at Coffee District in Delray.
I saw a stack of it at the liquor store I went to earlier when I was looking for Two Hearted. I'm pretty sure it was like $22 for the 6-pack, and it was all room temp, and I believe the date code was like a month ago. So I don't know, like, I kind of have this weird thing ingrained in my head that, you like, it sort of became a meme in beer Twitter where, like, oh, you just got Hop Slam right off the line, it's already old. Because that was like one of those beers that everybody was like, you have to drink it right away.
Yeah.
And I felt a little weird grabbing a month-old one, but I mean, it's one of those things. In my early beer days, my first encounter with that beer was poured for me by Larry Bell at the Jupiter Craft Brewers Festival, and it was such a cool occasion. He was popping like maybe a case.
It was a case every hour or something.
Every hour, yeah, and there would be this like New Year's Eve countdown, like 10, 9, every time the hour changed, and it was so cool.
It was like our
fanfare.
Original timed release for Florida.
Yeah. Oh, it definitely was, and I remember taking that first sip and going, whoa, like I exclaimed it, like I was like, holy shit. It just blew me away. So, we know they can do some IPAs, and it's important to remember, like, don't sleep on them. Don't keep going gaga for, if you want to, like, obviously support what you want, who you want, and drink what you want. But, like, I think some consideration should be given to these,
Have you had Official, their hazy IPA?
I did. I don't remember it though. Like it was among a bunch of other beers and a few people. I don't remember it.
I thought it was pretty solid. It's been a while since I've had one, but I remember when I first had it, I would put it up there with like Hazy Little Thing as like really well done hazy from one of these bigger craft breweries.
Right.
Like it just shows like the big boys can do this too. Like Hazy Little Thing is still fucking awesome, and I still grab a 6-pack every once in a while, because grocery stores carry it around here, and it's just easy and cheap to grab hold of, and it's delicious.
And it's such a funny notion to think like, oh, the big guys can do it. Like, of course they can. They've got the best people on their team. They have the resources. They have labs. They have, access to pretty much whatever they want. If they want to, and it's funny to me, like the way the perception of quality and everything has been turned on its head, where because like first it was like the big guys are, like macro, like they're fizzy yellow piss water, but like quality, it can have different meanings to different people, and I'm pretty sure none of the Budweiser at my local grocery has diacetyl, but I can guarantee some of the fucking local craft beer does. And then now it's like, I can, it's only super fresh and great if it's from the Hayes Cannery down the street. But it's like, no, like these guys are like, who was it I saw today talking about centrifuging hazies? They had a really
Austin
cool
Beer
photo
Works.
of it too. Yeah. I mean, come on, those guys kick ass. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know how big they are in relation to someone like Bell's, but I mean,
They're not the only brewery centrifuging hazies. Like,
for sure.
A lot of them are.
Yeah.
I remember, like, and to be honest, a year and a half ago, hearing that to me sounded weird, but our friend Dustin, formerly of Saltwater, now at Three Sons in Dania, I was hanging out with him at Jupiter Craft Brewers Festival, and he was telling me about how he was testing like centrifuging their hazies, and I was like, "What?" Like that, it didn't make sense to me initially, but then he explained it to me, and like they're trying to get the hop particulate out, leave the yeast. Like you do it slow enough, you can get the hops out, but the yeast stays there so that you don't have that hop burn, and you are getting rid of the potential for hop creep that causes secondary fermentation and diacetyl. I was like, dude, that fucking makes sense now. And yeah, like seeing Michael Graham from Austin Beer Works talking about that, and Tyler from Deep Ellum saying that, hey, we do that too. I remember Sam Tierney from Firestone saying that they do their hazies through centrifuge as well.
Yep.
You know what? Every single one of those breweries, I trust their quality, and so if they say that that's a good thing to do, then fuck yeah, I say that's a good thing to do.
Yeah, 1,000%.
So before I haven't finished that can yet, but I think let's move on to talking about beer number 2, the one that you actually have. How about you handle talking about this while I crack mine open?
So this is North Coast Old Rasputin Stout, and this is an imperial stout that I feel is sort of the standard for this particular style, in the same way that like Two Hearted is, greatly representative of American IPAs, or Left Hand Milk Stout is kind of the quintessential milk stout. This, I can see a lot of people today, maybe even people who are new into beer, trying this and thinking it's some sort of black IPA or something, because This is not what stouts typically are these days. At least in my kind of narrow view, like I the way I perceive beer these days, because like I'm not going to a lot of breweries, I'm not going out a lot, but there's a lot going online, and you see people are going on online, and like every goddamn stout, it looks like now, at least on Instagram and Twitter and everything, has marshmallows and all this other horse shit, and it's, it finishes fermentation at 47 Plato, and there's no balance. Everything is just overdone and cloyingly sweet and syrupy and sticky, and you need to consume it with a spoon. But this to me is just the essence of balance, right? So, you put your nose in the glass, you've got this deep chocolate aroma. I mean, Baker, it's like a combination of Baker's chocolate, semi-sweet chocolate, cocoa powder. I get so many
Cocoa
different
powder,
chocolates.
big time to me.
1,000%. And, maybe a touch of coffee, but,
Yeah, like a mocha, like...
Right. It's not like black coffee. It's not like super dark, roasty, bitter coffee, but there is a little of that in there. And, like, I'll it pours with this beautiful kind of dark tan head. It's completely opaque. I mean, I can't see through it at all. But it's not this, bottle of oil. It's, I hate
but
to
what's
say
funny is we used to say that this was like...
Yeah, this used to be
oil.
full-bodied,
Yeah.
relative to everything else that was out. This, honestly, is like, I would even say less than medium-bodied compared to a lot of stouts that are out these days. I mean, everything has just kind of gone off the deep end and without balance. There's easily more carbonation to this than
Oh, yeah.
what you would find in a lot of stouts these days, especially imperial stouts. And, that gives it a little extra bite. It's not as soft as some of the others you'll have. And
There's even a little bit of bitterness on the back end, too.
oh, for sure. I mean, I definitely get hop bitterness. There's bitterness from just like the carbonic acid in the carbonation of this thing. But to me, it's so well balanced and it does not drink like, I want to say it's 9 or 9.5%.
9.
9.
Yeah.
And what's crazy is like, and I'd have to look at it, but I feel like this label has not changed in over a decade. And you know what? I'm totally fine with that. The last thing we need is like another online debate about rebranding. And, if you were even logged on to Twitter the day fucking Anchor changed all their shit, like just forget it.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, none of those people have had an Anchor beer in 20 fucking years. But, I mean, this is just classic in every sense of the word. It's balanced. It's just a beautiful beer that represents, to me, this is a Russian Imperial Stout, but you go to any of your local craft breweries and, you order a Russian Imperial Stout and it's going to come out of a fucking soft serve machine. So, I think this is one that people need to kind of go back to, like, go back, try it, and I swear I can imagine people going, oh, this is a black IPA.
I could see where you would say that.
And this was very prevalent back in the day. Like, this would be a lot of craft beer bars' nitro option if it wasn't left-hand milk stout.
I was just going to say, like, they also do this on nitro.
Hell yeah. And I imagine, that's definitely going to soften the bite of it and amp up the mouthfeel and the body. And man, I wish I could find a place locally that had it like that because it's so good. And like, from what I know, I don't think they've ever tried to package it as nitro either.
No, not that I'm aware of.
I mean, I know very little about the brewery. This is probably the only thing I've had from them, but
no,
the sense
had
I
other
get
stuff
is,
from them.
yeah, I mean, the sense I get is that they're sticking to their guns and kind of fighting the current on what is Imperial Stouts today. And I'm totally fine with that. I mean, I think it's great.
You've had Old Stock, their old ale.
That's right.
Scrimshaw, their Pilsner, Red Seal, that's like a red ale from them. Blue Star I can't remember what like these were all like beers that we were picking up at Total Wine back in the day. Scrimshaw's an amazing pilsner.
I definitely remember Scrimshaw.
It's got like
I'm on their website.
the shark fin on it.
Yeah, I'm on their website, man. They've got fucking cans. They've got 4 packs of cans.
Oh,
I haven't
really?
seen those. Yeah.
If you listen to us on the episode where we had the 3 beers that kind of like got us into this, I talked about Sam Smith and going to a place called Isaac Newton's in Newtown, PA with my cousin, and him picking that out for me because I liked Guinness. After I had Sam Smith Oatmeal Stout, my cousin picked this for me next, Old Rasputin. And this was too intense for me that night. I was like, oh, like this is strong. This is like way too much coffee flavor because I wasn't a coffee drinker at that time. It tasted boozy to me. Over time, I learned to appreciate this beer, and going back on it now, like this is probably the first time I've had this beer in at least 4 to 5 years.
Wow.
And you're right. There's little things I can pick up on the label that are definitely different, but for the most part, this is the same fucking label, and I am fine with that for these guys. They do barrel age variations of this as well that are fantastic. My wife and I actually got a bottle of, I think it was the rye barrel aged Old Rasputin for some friends for Christmas. There was like a bourbon barrel aged one as well. Like this is the classic Imperial Stout to me. Sam Smith makes an Imperial Stout that's fucking ridiculous as well, but like for American breweries doing Imperial Stouts, this is the one, man. The one. You're right about the body that you said earlier. Like I would even say it is slightly less than medium body, but it's just so good.
And I'm pairing it with some chocolate chip cookies from Fresh Market, and it's like divine. It's unfuckwithable. Like I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that, you know, you and I and Phil have talked about doing trips and visiting breweries and people we want to drink with and everything. And I'm gonna say that I think I want to go to their tap room in California. I mean, you go to their website. There's a picture of fish and chips that I might have to print out and take with me into the bathroom later. Like garlic waffle fries, deep fried Brussels sprouts. They make chili with their dark lager. Like, I want to go and support these guys. This is such a fantastic beer. I want to kick myself for not drinking it more often because it's so readily available. And it's funny, it's like one of those things that I never see anyone I know drinking. I never see anyone I know talking about it. And there's so many beers like this. But I'll wander the aisles and look at some of these legacy beers and be like, yeah, it's great, but like I don't know anyone else that's into it, or at least like currently drinking it. So like someone's buying it if it's still on sale here. Like they're clearly reordering it. And that always encourages me to know it's still around and people are still into it.
They're also a certified B Corporation. Sustainability and like all of that
Zero waste.
What?
Zero waste.
Yeah. And when you go to like the B Corporation website, like seeing names like Ben and Jerry's and Cabot, and New Belgium, right there on their front page, it's like, man, they're in good company. There's only 3,800 companies in the world that are certified B corporations. That's fucking incredible. And I love me some Cabot cheese.
Oh, hell yeah. Oh my God. I was going to, before I got into beer, I was going to these wine tastings because I thought I was going to be getting into wine. And this is back in the day when we had like tweet ups, fucking ridiculous word, but and this dude turned me on to Cabot cheese, and I mean, I'm buying it constantly. It's so good.
Yeah. Oh shit! Like, yeah, I just went to their website and I see like those tall boys of Old Rasputin on the front page, but then you go to their year-round beers. There's Red Seal, there's Scrimshaw, there's Blue Star, Brother Theolonus, Prankster, Old Rasputin, and Stellar IPA. That is the only one of those beers. Oh wait, there's even more. What's this one? I know I've had this. Oh, Lemural. I don't know how to pronounce that. I definitely have had that. Old Stock. Laguna Baja, haven't had. Old Number 35 Stout, definitely had. Foggy Day IPA. Acme. I forgot they make the Acme beers too. Like, well, not like if you're from PA, the grocery chain, but like 80% of their portfolio is stuff that I've had before and like vividly remember because their labels still look like the old way that they are. But you know what? If they want to go the way of Anchor and change their shit up tomorrow, more power to you, man. Like, it's your brand. You can do with it what you want. Yeah, we can reminisce on what the stuff looked like, but we're definitely those assholes who have not had one of their beers in a long time. But I mean, looking back at some of these, I have great memories of a lot of these, just picking them out randomly at Total Wine because the labels looked cool at that time, or at fucking Coffee District in Delray Beach, man, where I feel like a lot of us got to try new stuff. They were definitely one of those places that rotated in Old Rasputin on Nitro. It was like that and Left Hand Milk Stout. They just kind of went between on their Nitro.
Yeah. It's fuck, man. Like, I'm so glad we do this, and this should be a regular, kind of intervaled episode that we do, because it's not only paying respect to these old brands, but also reminding people and recommending to people who haven't had it before. These are the classics. These are the ones that pave the way for us to do all the bullshit we do. And I have the utmost respect for some of these breweries and the way they have put out something such high quality with such consistency for so many years. Because, I'll have other things that are just like, well, this doesn't taste like the last one, and the last one wasn't that long ago, and, it's fuck. I mean, I honestly wish we, I only have the one, you have two. I'm like, fuck, I wish we would have done like 3 or 4 in this episode.
Yeah, I mean, we'll go ahead and do stuff like that again in the future, because I'm walking down the aisle, because I called you and I was like, I can't find Brooklyn Lager. Like, looking at stuff like Fat Tire and even like Narragansett Lager, and there's plenty of things that I think that we can go back and try that we haven't had in a long time. And like, I know we're finishing up as of recording this by the time this comes out. Flagship for February. I feel like it didn't have as much steam behind it this year as it did previous years. But
I haven't seen it mentioned once.
I saw it mentioned a couple times, but towards the very tail end of the month. But like, there's these beers that they deserve to. They were held on such a high pedestal and I know you hate the word deserve, but like, they were held in such high regards on pedestals when we first got into this stuff, that they've been overtaken by exclusivity and hype, and I don't think that that's fair. Just because something is harder to find doesn't make it taste better. And if we can revisit some of these beers and talk about them and get someone else, like if we can get like Tim in Minnesota to go out and buy a 4-pack of Old Rasputin because he's like, damn, I haven't had that beer in a long time. And he says something on Twitter and gets someone, one of his buddies from Iowa to go buy some, and they get someone from Texas to go buy some. Like, you know what, just spreading the word again on some of these awesome breweries creating great beer, and let's talk about that, how good they are at doing that, and get back to kind of our roots of what we got into this industry about, is drinking good beer, talking about good beer, and being like fanboys and just hyped on good beer. I'd be all for that.
I have a, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say that I have a feeling that maybe we're coming off like a couple of old farts, you know, like get off my lawn and old man yells at cloud kind of thing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think, you know, the people we know that listen to this and are probably, you know, on the same page for the most part. And I think it's incumbent of us to spread the word, not just through, you know, our little echo chamber here, but,
Yeah.
you know, let's talk about it a little more online. Let's, you know, like when this is over, I'm definitely going to be like on Twitter going, man, fucking Old Rasputin. You know, it's, I think it's important to bring these beers back into the conversation and, you know, like I said, remind people and also introduce it to people who like, because I remember saying a while back on the podcast, it might have even been on that episode where we were talking about some of you know, our entry beers and stuff like that, that I got into beer and, you know, there was very little locally. So I was getting, you know, like all the new Flying Dog releases and the Southern Tiers and all those things that came down and were new to us. And we had no idea about, we were just trying to try everything new because, as we've always said, you know, it was a wasteland back then. And then I kind of skipped over a lot of imports and European beers and everything like that because that's kind of when everything was blowing up locally. And, you know, it started going more toward like IPAs and imperial stouts and sours and all that stuff. So, you know, it took me a while to kind of circle back around and get to the imports and all the great stuff that's made overseas. So I think in the same token, like it's important for us to kind of circle back around and remind people of these classics that are right there in front of them. And you don't have to line up for these. And you know, you should have an amazing experience when you put this in your glass.
Yeah, absolutely. When I was listening to Phil on Bitter Units with having Saison DuPont, like, fuck, why has it been so long since I've had Saison DuPont? And went and like grabbed the bottle that day and like, fuck, yes, this is fantastic. And you know, like you talk about sounding like old farts, like I'll be the first one to admit, at least, I mean, I think both of us can admit that we're not like, you're a big lover of the seltzer movement and you like seltzers. I like hazy IPAs. I have one locally, or a brewery locally. Throw it out there. Friends from Civil Society. Prior to moving into my new house, an 8-minute walk from where I lived previously. I can probably get there in about 20 if I really like just stay constantly moving. I got into this little thing for a while on Thursdays. I'd come home from work with my dog and take a walk down to the brewery, grab a 4-pack and grab a beer in a plastic cup and walk home with it. And I think they make great renditions of hazy IPAs. They haven't all been hits in my opinion, but like for the most part, I enjoy a lot of their beers. I enjoy hazy IPAs as a style. Are they my favorite? No, not necessarily, but I think they have a great place, and they're something that I do enjoy. If someone does it, like more than likely, if I want to make a flight out of a new brewery that I'm going to, and they have a hazy, I'm gonna try that. But yeah, I still love pilsners. I still love West Coast IPAs. I still love an imperial stout like this, like Old Rasputin. But yeah, I would love if someone listening to this podcast, and I know that we probably lean a little more towards industry people who listen to this podcast, and to all of you, hey, sup. But to people who are not industry folk and are maybe just like beer fans, beer drinkers, because you're the people who keep us employed. If I can turn you on to trying something new and you really like it, fucking awesome. And if there is any of you out there who have been turned on to something because of us, let us fucking know. I'd love to hear from you. Like, I've gotten to know so many people just mostly online because fucking COVID. Some awesome people online who have found out about us because of this show. That's silly to me, because I always thought that only the people who listen to our show are people who already follow us as like individuals on social media. But yeah, if we've turned you on to a particular beer, I would really like to hear about it, and I really like to talk about like that beer more, because talking about beer fucking excites me, and it's a thing that scares me off a lot of times from Twitter and makes me take little breaks here and there, is because everything gets so fucking complicated and so angry. Yeah, distributors fucking suck. But you know what? They're there, and if that's what your state says that you have to deal with, then that's what you got to fucking deal with. Let's talk about fucking fun stuff. Let's talk about the beer. Let's talk about beers that we love, and I want to do more of that. So hit me up, hit the podcast up on Twitter, and let's talk fun stuff about beer. If we've turned you on to something, or if you want to try to turn us on to something and you want to send us stuff so that we can be turned on to it. I'm all for sharing.
I second that, except don't at me at all. I don't care. I'm kidding. Was that your last call?
No, actually. I guess we should get into last calls. We're running a little long here. The part of the show where we give each other a little bit of time to voice their opinion, statement, just go off, unopposed, uninterrupted, about whatever. I guess I'll just jump in here. This is more of an observation and a what the fuck than anything. I've been seeing a trend lately in the local area that I don't understand. I've seen it before, but very sparingly, and it seems to be becoming more of a thing. I'll be sitting at an intersection and waiting for the light to change, when I will see the light change for the opposite direction and a car just blatantly run a red light, all while holding their horn down. I've seen it once or twice before in the past, but more and more often I am seeing people just running red lights while blaring on their horn, almost as if it is a way of saying, I understand what I am doing, but I'm letting you all know that I am breaking the law and I'm doing it and I don't give a fuck by blaring on my horn, just to let you know I'm going through the intersection anyway. What the fucking fuck, South Florida? Like, I know we're fucking stupid. I know we're fucking dumb. We don't have to get into that. But you have every opportunity to fucking stop as long as you're not fucking driving 100 miles per hour. So I don't get where even this idea and this concept that like I can run this red light as long as I hold down my horn. It's fine. I'm letting people know, because if I'm hitting my horn, therefore people are going to look around and stop. Where does this fucking come from? What? Why? So that's my kind of last call. If anyone can inform me as to where this came about, I could probably Google, but I don't want to. Well, I wouldn't have a last call if I Googled this information. But just fucking stop. Like, lights are like 2 minutes. Like, people really think that lights take for fucking ever. They're not that long when you really think about it. That's all I gotta say.
Well said. I've had some recent traffic issues myself recently, and
I know that this is a non-opposed thing. Have you ever seen that happen before? People run a red light and just hold down the horn as they're going through?
I don't know. And I feel like someone doing that may have had a reason. Like, you know, my wife is pregnant and I'm rushing her to the hospital, or, you know, it's an undercover that, you know, his
COVID
lights aren't
babies are finally like, oh, I'm starting to understand now more.
No, I mean, that definitely I haven't witnessed it myself. I've seen enough terrible things, you know, to not have to need to see that. But I also think it sounds about par for the course, considering the self-entitlement and recklessness of everybody in South Florida.
What about your last call?
So this will probably be my most misinterpreted and, you know, taken out of context, whatever, fucking last call. But if you haven't seen the news lately, Mr. Potato Head is now available in genderless edition. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, you know, representation matters. And yes, you're absolutely right. Just let me remind you, it's a fucking toy potato. Okay? The Mr. and Mrs. versions don't come with genitals. I think she might have like red lips, and he has a mustache.
And there's a bow, I think, on the Mrs. one.
Yeah. I mean, it's a fucking potato. It's dumb. It's overkill. Like, it's getting really silly, guys. Like, a lot more important things to focus on. That's it.
All right. A little bit of good housekeeping here. Also, a little bit of mental health stuff. We're going to take a bit of time off here. We're going to take. I know that this episode comes out in the month of March, but we're not going to record during the month of March. I just need some time off. I'm going to be straight up honest. I've been working a lot. I have been, my wife and I bought a house we moved into recently. I have 2 podcasts, and just the everything with work, and we've been fucking swamped at work. Everything with work, life, and trying to do 2 podcasts, like record them, edit them, post them, all of that. It's a lot. And being able to say when you're overwhelmed is I think an important thing. And I think that I held this in for a little bit longer than I probably should have. But I just need some time off. And so we're going to take the month of March off. Let me reset, and mentally, physically, I can spend a little more time with my wife, with my dog, and just unwind from work in a way that is a little easier than just coming home immediately and hopping on my computer and starting to work on editing podcasts. So we're going to do that. We'll be back in the month of April. I don't know the exact date just yet, but follow us on our social media at United We Drink on Twitter, at United We Drink Pod on Instagram, and we'll let you know when we're going to be coming back. Like, I know that for a lot of podcasts, stopping putting out regular content can be a death whistle, but like I feel pretty strong in our followers that you'll still be there for us when we decide to come back. So thank you everyone who has supported us through all of this, and from restarting the podcast. If you were an old time listener, what the fuck are you still doing here? But thank you to all of you too. Just need to unwind a bit, and this was one of our early episodes was work-life balance, and it's still one of our most listened to episodes for the show, and I think that it resonated with a lot of people, and I wanted to be able to share this with a lot of you because you all responded so wonderfully to that episode. So like, I wanted to let you know I'm having some feelings that I need to step away for just a bit and reestablish a bit of my life, and but we'll be back and we'll have some episodes for you. We're definitely going to talk with Tim from Bitter Units because I want to talk with Tim all the time. He's a good dude. And thanks everyone for understanding.
Every time you start talking about the house on Twitter, I kind of want to mess with you and sort of take the role of like one of those whataboutism people who are like so just reacting to everything that comes through their feed. And I want to just be like, just like in all caps too, like, this is so cringe, Mike, delete this. People are losing their homes and this is so insensitive. Like, I just want to fuck with you, but I don't know.
I appreciate you not. Yeah,
I know it's stressful because I've done it myself, and I don't want to like give you any shit. It's more about me mocking all these fucking people who just they have to react to everything.
Yeah, and I feel like that's been a thing that I've been trying to instill in myself this new year, and I've put it across on the podcast a number of times, like, don't rat on people for things that make them happy unless it is actually harmful to other people. So I will keep on putting that out there. Like, let people live their lives, let them be happy, let them do things that make them happy, as long as it don't hurt anyone. If it hurts people or it discriminates against people, by all means call them out. But you know what? Fuck off on, I don't like that. I don't care. That's not a sandwich. Fuck you. The person enjoys eating it. Get the fuck out of here. Talking about, I saw fucking Fruit Loops on a fucking pizza yesterday, and people fucking losing their minds on Twitter. I don't give a fuck.
Like, no one's force feeding it to you.
No.
It's a picture you saw on the internet.
I know where I like to buy pizza. I keep on buying pizza from there. They haven't changed at all because of that. So neither has your life. Joel, plug away.
Joel Brews on Twitter, still Florida Brewer, DUH Brewer on Instagram. I'm slowly getting back into it. It's still a little obnoxious out there. A lot of people performing, but I'm at least trying to just let people know I'm still there and show you some of the shit I'm working on.
It's kind of funny. I feel like Twitter is way more performative than Instagram. Even though Instagram has a ton of performance stuff, but I don't follow people like that. So it's funny how your algorithm and what you follow can impact that in such a way.
Yep.
You can follow me at Mike Loves Beer on Twitter and Instagram. I've been disappointed in my Instagram recently because I've been putting so much effort into work Instagram. At which please go follow at Copperpoint Brewing Company. I know it's long-winded. I didn't choose it, but I've been really happy with a lot of the pictures that I've been taking and putting out, and the content I've been putting out on our Instagram and just our social media in general. Copperpoint Brewing Company down here in Boynton Beach. I'm proud of our beer. I'm proud of what I'm putting out, and we have something really fucking cool coming out next week, or this week when you're listening to it. So it's already come out by the time. Fuck it, just follow us. And I already gave the plugs for the breweries, social media. Subscribe to the show on any of the podcast services, and when we come back, you'll get all those brand new episodes delivered to the device of your choice, whether that be Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, wherever. If you want to support the show financially, you can buy a shirt, button, sticker, mask at our web store, unitedwedrink.com/store, or you can visit one of our cool sponsors that we have on our website. American Homebrewers Association, Wink, Not Drizzly, fuck them, or anyone else. Go to our website, unitedwedrink.com/sponsors, and we have some cool people there. Yes, Nugget, fuck Drizzly. Yes, I agree. But my dog, you might have seen Joel put him out there on Twitter last week. Stop. But in the meantime, we'll wrap things up there. We'll see you in probably a month or so. Thank you everyone for constantly supporting the show, just by listening to us and bearing with us, and yeah, whatever. It means a lot. For Joel, I'm Mike. We'll see you next time. Cheers.
Cheers.